Hey, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Expansion Pack. Hold on, let me mute this TV. I'm your host, Dan F. Man. Thank y'all for joining and waiting for me to get in here and start talking to y'all. As y'all can see, we got something new upon us today. Got us a nice little new overlay for hosting Expansion Pack. I ain't mad at it. You shouldn't be either. I think it's actually pretty cool. You know, you can't just stick with the same old all the time. So let me go ahead and get y'all over to y'all motivation for right now, and then we'll talk about everything after that. All right? For the day. Let us go. Let's try this one. We'll see Dr. Joe.
High-performing websites. But you don't love having to chase clients down.
Y'all always be doing that. The last frontier. Come in here and talk about Snoop Dogg.
People wake up in the morning, they begin to think about their problems. Those problems are circuits of memories in the brain. Each one of those memories are connected to people and things at certain times and places. And if the brain is a record of the past, the moment they start their day, they're already thinking in the past. Each one of those memories has an emotion. Emotions are the end product of past experiences. So the moment they recall those memories of their problems, they all of a sudden feel unhappy, they feel sad, they feel pain. Now, how you think and how you feel creates your state of being. So the person's entire state of being when they start their day is in the past. So what does that mean? The familiar past will sooner or later be predictable future. So if you believe that your thoughts have something to do with your destiny, and you can't think greater than how you feel, or feelings have become the means of thinking, by very definition of emotions, you're thinking in the past. And for the most part, you're going to keep creating the same life. So then people grab their cell phone, they check their WhatsApp, they check their text, they check their emails, they check Facebook, they take a picture of their feet, they post it on Facebook, they tweet something, they do Instagram, they check the news, and now they feel really connected to everything that's known in their life. And then they go through a series of routine behaviors. They get out of bed on the same side, they go to the toilet, they get a cup of coffee, they take a shower, they get dressed, they drive to work the same way, they do the same things, they see the same people, they push the same emotional buttons, and that becomes the routine, and it becomes like a program.
What's up,
so
Major
now they've
Thomas?
lost their free will
Hope
to a
you're
program.
doing well today.
And there's no unseen hand doing it to them. So when it comes time to change, the redundancy of that cycle becomes a subconscious program. So now 95% of who we are by the time we're 35 years old is a memorized set of behaviors, emotional reactions, unconscious habits, hardwired attitudes, beliefs, and perceptions that function like a computer program. So then a person can say with their 5% of their conscious mind, I want to be healthy, I want to be happy, I want to be free. But the body's on a whole different program. So then how do you begin to make those changes? Well, you have to get beyond the analytical mind, because what separates the conscious mind from the subconscious mind is the analytical mind.
You already know, Major Thomas.
And that's where meditation comes in.
We're trying to get right for right now.
Through practice,
Get motivated.
how to change their brainwaves, slow them down. And when they do that properly, they do enter the operating system where they can begin to make some really important changes. So most people then wait for crisis or trauma or disease or diagnosis. You know, they wait for loss, some tragedy to make up their mind to change. And my message is, why wait? And you can learn and change in a state of pain and suffering, or you can learn and change in a state of joy and inspiration. And I think right now, the cool thing is that people are waking up. Most people spend 70% of their life living in survival and living in stress. So they're always anticipating the worst case scenario based on a past experience. And they're literally Out of the infinite potentials in the quantum field, they're selecting the worst possible outcome, and they're beginning to emotionally embrace it with fear, and they're conditioning their body into a state of fear. Do that enough times, body has a panic attack without you. You can't even predict it because it's programmed subconsciously. So people become addicted to the rush of those emotions, and they use the problems and conditions in their life to reaffirm their limitation, so at least they can feel something. So now when it comes time to change, you say to the person, why are you this way? Well, every time they recall the event, they're producing the same chemistry in the brain and body as if the event is occurring. Firing and wiring the same
what's up,
circuits,
Zanita67? Nice to have you back.
The same emotional
Happy New Year to you too.
body. Well, what's the relevance behind that? Well, your body is your unconscious mind. In a sense, if you're sitting down and you start thinking about some future worst case scenario that you're conjuring up in your mind, and you begin to feel the emotion of that event, your body doesn't know the difference between the event that's taking place in your world, outer world, and what you're creating by emotion or thought alone. So most people then, they're constantly reaffirming their emotional states. So when it comes time to give up that emotion, they can say, I really want to do it, but really the body is stronger than the mind because it's been conditioned that way. So the servant now has become the master, and the person all of a sudden, once they step into that unknown, they'd rather feel guilt and suffering because at least they can predict it. Being in the unknown is a scary place for most people because the unknown is uncertain. People say to me, well, I can't predict my future. I'm in the unknown, and I always say the best way to predict your future is to create it.
Yes,
Not
sir.
from the known, but from the unknown. What thoughts do you want to fire and wire in your brain? What behaviors do you want to demonstrate in one day? The act of rehearsing them mentally, closing your eyes, and rehearsing the action.
Hi, I'm Zach Cass, the former
All
head
right,
of
y'all.
go-to-market at
That's our motivation for right now. Now, I think the last thing he pretty much was going to say is closing your eyes, rehearsing it, and actually then going and trying and living it. So, let me get y'all over the other screen. So, today on Tech Tuesday, because you know it's Tech Tuesday, we rebuilding what we lost. I was sitting and thinking as I was driving the kids to school today, I was like, man, you know, if you had to break something apart and put it back together again, could you do it? And you know, there are simple things that you could take apart and put back together, and then there are more complicated things that you take apart and you put back together that you probably don't have the expertise, or once it's apart you need certain tools to put it back together. Well, what about when you lost, or if you've lost something that is not necessarily technological, so to speak? How would you rebuild that or reshape that or remake that? But since it's Tech Tuesday, that's just a thought for y'all in y'all own time. For Tech Tuesday today, we just gonna be looking at technology, the technology side of that thought. All right, so I hope the vertical screen out there. See, look, the vertical screen got y'all looking stupid out there. Too many extra things on here. All right, anyway, let's look at some easy, simple builds. Easy inventions to make at home. Let's see. I know the vertical, if y'all watching on YouTube on the vertical screen, give me 2 seconds, I'm gonna fix that. Let me just get a video out there for y'all. I'm gonna put on the filter for this one because I want to see what's out there. Let me see. What is that supposed to do again? Hold on, because I need to see this. What is this supposed to do? I need to see this something about this first thing. Hello friends, channel, simple. Hold on. Yeah, looking car with chains is useless as it has oven lock. What? They didn't even. Oh my gosh. That comment ain't even good. Oh my gosh. I guess, whatever. What is it supposed to do? I don't know. Hey, he about to make a sawtooth box cutter. That's my man. Look at him. Put that work in. That's right. Hey. Sound about right. You gotta use your mind. Watch a couple more of these. Man, I should have took wood shop or some woodworking class. Jeez. Well, no, never mind. We didn't have a chance. I didn't have a chance to because we had ended up leaving the school that was at. Let's see what he got for this. I already see where you going with this. Simple. This just to get us started, y'all. Hey. But we already know stuff like that. All right, hold on. I want to see one more like easy around the house invention. Super idea, amazing. Both simple inventions. Hold on. Let's take the filter off now. What is that? That music is annoying. What does it do? Hold up.
What is that?
So basically, it's an alarm for your door. If that thing move, it's gonna trigger an alarm. All right. What else y'all got? Yeah, let's upcycle some stuff. There it is. We
My
found it.
kids can't hide anything from me.
Upcycling. Didn't we do this
Especially
before?
when they've been using toilet paper that doesn't hold up.
Charmin.
Yeah, we seen this. I know we seen part of this. Yeah, we seen part of this. Where did we stop at though? Hold on, let's see something. Best upcycle projects. Alright, hold on. Alright, let's see what she got. We gonna fast forward some on her, but
Stores are full of treasures and lots of trash. The key is to know what to look for and to see potential in items that others overlook. So in today's video, I want to share what I think are some of the best items to thrift for upcycling and repurposing projects. I'll explain why these items are so great for creating unique decor. And I'll show you how I upcycled 7 of these thrift store finds to create stylish decor for my own home. So let's get started.
Small wood containers are perfect for upcycling projects because they're versatile, sturdy, and easy to customize. To make this wall basket a little more special, I'm going to add a battery-operated clock. I removed the glass, the hands, and the battery box. I cut off the plastic tabs on the back so that it would sit flush against the wood. I used an angle grinder with a cutting blade, but you could just use a sharp, sturdy utility knife. My plan was to attach the battery pack on the back of the wood and drill a hole for the center shaft of the battery pack so I could attach the clock hands on the front. However, the wood was so thick that the clock shaft did not stick far enough through the hole. So this clock is just going to be decorative. I printed out a vintage-looking clock face on a piece of cardstock. I used an AI editing tool in Canva to remove the clock hands from the image. Then I adhered it over the existing clock face using Elmer's spray adhesive. I decided to paint the wood black to contribute to the vintage look. Chalk paint works great on all kinds of wood, and once it's dry, it's easy to distress the edges with sandpaper if you like that look. I hot glued the clock face to the wood and then hot glued the clock hands in the center to make it look like a working clock. The plastic gold rim looked cheap, so I brushed on some gold rub and buff to make it look a little more like real metal. Then I decided to paint the plastic rim with the same black chalk paint I used on the wood. The black color just makes it disappear. To seal the chalk paint on the wood, I brushed on antiquing wax, which also adds some dimension to the black paint. I'm always amazed at how much character paint, and in this case, a paper clock face, can add to inexpensive wood decor from the thrift store.
Hold on, let me see it.
Inexpensive wood decor from the thrift store.
It actually really looks nice. Look at that, look at that. And it looked like an actual working clock. Look at her with these
This is the
commercials.
boot
That's my
that
girl.
started it all. When you think of
Run
LL
it.
Bean, you think of the Bean boot.
It's a cute cabinet, but it's not really my style. And the shelves aren't large enough to hold anything but a few tiny items. So I want to see if I can make it more of a vintage looking statement piece. First, I removed the magnetic door clasp, and then I removed the door. The shelves were only held in place with 2 brad nails on each side, so I hammered them loose. But they were such a tight fit, I had to cut them in half to get them out through the opening. Then I used some needle nose pliers to twist and pull out the brad nails from the side panels. Because this was a cheaply constructed cabinet, there were a lot of gaps between the wood pieces that I filled with caulk. I let the caulk dry for an hour or so, and then I painted the cabinet with a light brown chalk paint. I painted everything but the inside back panel, which I planned on covering with some scrap wallpaper.
Hey, that looked nice, even
to
after
create
just
a
that
layered,
first
aged
layer.
over time look to the wood. I first brushed on a coat of white wax, lightly wiping away the excess. I let the wax dry for a few hours, and then I applied a layer of antiquing wax over the white wax, again just lightly wiping away the excess. To cover the inside, I used a piece of William Morris peel and stick wallpaper left over from a recent bedroom makeover. I
Hey,
cut it
that's my
slightly
girl.
larger than I needed, and then used a utility knife to cut off the excess along the 4 edges.
That's my girl.
After letting the wax dry overnight, I brushed on a 3rd layer of wax, this time using black, which really gave it a nice vintage
Look.
appearance.
Yeah, that's my girl.
Because I may want to hang this on the wall, I
So I'm gonna stop right there
D-rings
just for
on
a
the
second,
back.
because when I look at these projects and the start at the beginning, like the way that it looks, it's already done. You don't have to rebuild it. You don't have to remake it. You don't have to do nothing. Okay. But as she's adding these coats of paint and she redoing the inside and then, doing sanding and putting the wax on it, it looked brand new. And I don't mean brand new like, oh, yeah, it just came off the assembly line. I mean brand new like, I've never seen this thing before. Was this the same cabinet that was sitting here? Yeah. Anyway.
I could have added 1 shelf across the middle, but I really like having an open space to create a display with at least 1 taller item.
Right. And then things for decoration are nice.
Video on ideas
up.
for upcycling books. For this project, I chose 5 books in colors to coordinate with this painting of a young girl reading. I removed the background in the Canva app and printed it out on a piece of cardstock to fit the width of the 5 books combined. Before attaching the picture, I wanted to remove the titles from the book spines. I found that Goof Off does a good job at this, although this time
you're just
it
using the
also
books for-
removed some of the book color as well,
For
which I
decorating.
didn't really mind because I thought it just made the books look older. I wrapped a rubber band around the books to hold them tightly together. Then to adhere the image, I applied a good amount of Mod Podge to the book spines and to the back of the cardstock. Then I lined up the picture with the bottom edge of the book spines and pressed it in place. I rolled over it with a brayer to make sure that I got good adhesion. Once the Mod Podge was fully dry, I lined up a metal ruler with the edge of the book spines and used a sharp utility knife to cut a straight line through the paper. When I pulled the books apart, there was maybe 1/8 of an inch of paper that protruded beyond the book spines on either side. I could have cut or sanded this off, but I thought the image would look best if I glued those edges down, pressing them over the sides of the books. You have to work the paper with your fingers so that it conforms to the book spine.
Hey, it's brilliant. It's beautiful. Who cares what those books were? You gotta use your mind. You gotta use your mind. You gotta use your mind. I want to save this video. I'm gonna save this video to the Knowledge of Expansion Pack playlist so y'all can see that if y'all want to. Now let's see some electronics.
If you like to craft with aluminum beer and soda cans, here are 5 must-have.
I don't.
We all do it.
Let's
You
see
see a
what my
line
girl
and
got.
wonder, should I join it? Even crazier is that folks stick with insurance that keeps them waiting.
That looks static.
Repurpose.
Can't tell where it's coming from though.
Is one of the most fun ways to have some of the things that you need without spending extra money
y'all.
to get them.
I'm so
I
sorry.
have 40 cheap and easy repurposing hacks that you're definitely going to want to try today. Some you may have seen before, but some you probably haven't. So stick around to the end to make sure you don't miss anything. Let's go. Cereal boxes are always a great item to repurpose around the house. They can be cut down and used to line your bathroom or kitchen drawers to make cleanup nice and easy. You can cut up cereal and other dry food boxes to use as shopping list cards. You can just cut them up into several long pieces and attach them to a magnetic clip. Then you can place them on the fridge along with a pen for quick and easy access. Another great idea for cereal boxes is to use them to make picture frames. You can either cover them with nice wrapping paper, contact paper, or add some batting or some cotton balls and cover with pretty fabric.
Hey, that's cool.
After you cut up the cereal boxes, you can also use the bags from the inside. Cut them open, wipe them off, and use the liner instead of wax paper when rolling out cookie dough or homemade tortillas.
Hey, yeah, you're right, girl. Ain't nobody going to the store.
You can also use them in your craft room when working with hot glue. The cereal bags are also great for stuffing socks to make crinkle toys for babies and pets.
What?
You can use an empty tissue box as...
See, today the title was purposeful. It wasn't just, finding what you lost, looking for what you lost. It's rebuilding. Being able to rebuild something, to build something. I'm going to say rebuild. Being able to rebuild something from something or change something from its original form and build it into something else.
Top trash. Grab a plastic hair claw to hold your kitchen towel on the oven door handle. You can also do the same for the hand towels in your bathroom that always seem to end up on the floor. Similarly, you can also use binder clips to keep your towels on the bar. You can clip a couple directly onto the outer edges of the top of a hanger to keep a tank top or a sundress from sliding off.
Sliding down that thing. Look at my girl.
Clean egg cartons without the top work great in a drawer for organizing small items or jewelry. For those of you with outdoor gardens, flat tuna cans can help you measure how much you're watering. Just place them around your yard or your garden, turn on the sprinkler, and watch as the cans fill up. A full tuna can indicates that you've watered 1 inch, which is enough for dry ground, since 1 inch of water is going to sink into the earth about 1 foot. Clothespin dry ground.
Let you see that again.
Around gardens, flat tuna cans can help you measure how much you're watering. Just place them around your yard or your garden, turn on the sprinkler, and watch as the cans fill up. A full tuna can indicates that you've watered 1 inch, which is enough for dry ground, since 1 inch of water is going to sink into the earth about 1 foot. Clothespins with springs on them can be used to close chip bags or any kind of bag that may need to be kept closed. And of course, you can paint them and then use them for hanging pictures on a string on the wall. Contact lens cases are good for holding pills or small jewelry when on the go or when traveling. They're also good for holding small amounts of moisturizer or Vaseline to keep in your purse or when going on a short trip.
That's my girl.
Cut and paint plastic water bottles for hanging herbs and microgreens in the kitchen.
There you go, Mom. She said cut and paint them.
Cut and paint plastic water bottles for hanging herbs and microgreens in the kitchen. Put old calendar pages into picture frames to make wall art. Fold and stitch or use hem tape to close the ends of an old handkerchief. Cut a slit in the center, close up the other end with Velcro, snaps, or a button, whatever you have handy, and then use it to hold facial tissue in your purse.
See, so the difference between going and buying this stuff and actually doing this is just saying, hey, I don't want to. How about I do something with right here? Because once you start to thinking, you come up with all of this yourself. Like we watching just a seed. This is just like a seed. You be like, all right, cool. I remember she had did that. And you may not even remember exactly how, or even go back and reference the video to see how. But you might just start doing it yourself. And then whatever you come up with is your custom creation. I like this. I have to do this next week.
After you empty a baby wipe package, just roll up half sheet paper towels and insert them into the hole. Then add soapy water to the package and flatten the towels out to make your own baby or hand wipes in a pinch. When our kids got a little too big for these loft beds, we disassembled the beds and flipped them upside down to make regular beds. Then we took the storage railing and shower curtain rings to store hair scrunchies in my daughter's room.
Listen, y'all. I need a woman like this.
Use plastic cookie pack inserts as drawer organizers and on counters for spices, water bottle lids, or sponges.
That's my girl.
Imagine being able to build anything.
Look at my girl.
Just by thinking about it.
This is the way I be. So this is the way I be thinking. No, I ain't gonna skip past her video. There's only 4 more minutes too. We can watch this.
Glue